Hi everyone, welcome to a new video. If you're new to my channel, welcome. On my channel I talk about everything apprenticeships. I've recently, well not recently now, it's been about 5 months, I moved to London to start an apprenticeship with Google, and I'm kind of just sharing my journey on how I got to this point so far. So in today's video I'm going to be giving you an update, so like 4 or 5 months in, how do I feel about my apprenticeship, to see if it's what I expected, if there are any surprises, kind of cover different topics like friends, social life, workload, everything like that. So if you're thinking about doing an apprenticeship as an alternative to university, hopefully this video will be useful to give you a better idea of whether this is the right route for you or not. Or even if you're just interested in hearing about my journey, the update, then yeah, definitely keep on watching. So the first topic that I probably want to talk about is missing home. So my whole experience of missing home has definitely been very up and down, and at points not what I expected it to be. For example, around Christmas time I had a lovely 2 weeks off of work just because of how the holidays fell, and I was able to stay at home and see all my friends that were back from university, obviously all my family. We had an amazing Christmas day, and that whole time back home was just amazing. So obviously coming back to London, it was just adapting back to a different environment, and I just found that really hard and missed all my friends and family. Kind of found it hard to adjust back to the working life, and I'd definitely say like my mental health has peaked and troughed, and at times like that I've definitely felt a bit lower than other times. But despite moments like that, I've definitely loved the independence of kind of having my own house, and I do that because I'm only renting and I'm sharing with 7 other people, so, or 6 other people, there's 7 of us, so I'm definitely not living on my own. The independence definitely makes me appreciate everything that my family does for me, all the dinners that my mum's cooks, you know, all the time that they spend with you and things like that. But to overcome times when I do feel a bit down, I like to have a date in my calendar that I can kind of count down to, that I know when I'm next going home, just to give me something to look forward to. And also just remind myself that people are only a phone call and a FaceTime away. That is something that definitely helps. But also something that I struggled with, because catching up with people and ringing people all the time is very time consuming, and often I'm just exhausted, and I can be on the phone to say like my mum or my boyfriend for like 2 hours. So it's definitely something that I found more challenging than expected, but it's something that's really important to kind of keep in touch with those friends back home, and it's definitely something that I kind of have to remind myself to put effort into. After moving out and moving to London, I don't think I can see myself moving back home, just because I kind of feel like it'd be a bit of a step backwards, because I've gone through all these experiences and learning how to be independent, and I've kind of got the feel for it now. Not that I wouldn't move back home, because my plans after my apprenticeship are a bit unclear at the minute, so it could be an option, but I can't see myself doing it at this moment in time. Next I'm going to talk about friends. So obviously, like I said, I'm still in touch with most of my friends from back home, and I've been lucky enough to visit my ones that go to university quite a few times, which is always so much fun. And obviously when I go home I will try and make the effort to see them. It definitely makes me appreciate my time with them more, and I feel quite lucky that I have a strong enough friendship that when I do see my friends, it's like we've never even been apart. But in terms of friends here in London, it was definitely quite easy to make friends within the apprenticeship cohort, because there was 23 of us that were taken on at Google. We have a lot of things organised as an apprenticeship group, and we have an opportunity to go have lunch together and keep up to date, and we have group chats. That was something that I felt the group was quite strong with from the start. We kind of all bonded really well, and obviously people have drifted since, and you kind of figure out who you enjoy spending your time with more and things like that, but everyone's just so nice, and you can always turn to them for advice or work advice and things like that. So I definitely don't ever feel lonely in my workspace. Obviously I've got the chance to live with housemates. We're all I'd say we're all really quite close, and it's great just coming home to them at the end of the day when you feel a bit down, and you know, we all kind of appreciate that we like our own space, but it's great to just have that opportunity to hang around with them outside of work hours. And then obviously just living in London, there's so many opportunities to meet people. Like, I went to this business like startup event and met someone there that was off a panel. It's quite easy to find like-minded people in London when you seek for events. So I'll just look at events on Eventbrite, or there's sometimes external events that are passed around through work. But yeah, it is hard to kind of push yourself and go to things on your own and things like that, but it's always been worth it for me so far. There's always an opportunity to meet people, which is obviously something that I was worried about, thinking that I'm going to miss out on the university social life, and that's definitely something that I feel like I haven't missed out on, which is amazing. So that brings me on to my next topic, social life. Now, I haven't actually been out drinking as much as I thought I'd be, which isn't something that bothers me at all. Like, I don't actually think I'm a massive drinker, but I do love to go out and I do love to have fun. But I don't think drinking always necessarily has to be associated with that, which I kind of feel like a bit lucky that I haven't got caught up in the expectations of university of going out and having to drink and going out every week. Like, I honestly don't think I could do it. I'd be exhausted. Things that I have learned in terms of going out with London is that you always have to pre-plan where you're going to go, which, I'm not going to lie, is a bit of a ball ache sometimes. I do like to plan, but in terms of nights out, I kind of like to just decide on the night, see what everyone's mood is. And where I used to live in Leicester, there was kind of like a hub in town. We call it town, where you just go in town and there's bars all over the place, but you just get a taxi in town and then decide where you want to go depending on what mood you're in. Obviously in central London, there's loads of different areas. Like Camden is completely different to Shoreditch, and then there's South London. I haven't actually been out to that many places, which is something I do want to do before my apprenticeship ends, or I don't know if I'll end up staying in London or whatever, but that is something that's kind of surprised me a bit, or that I didn't really consider before I moved. But it's a lot of effort to kind of go out. And also you can't really, I struggle to wear heels if I'm getting the tube as well. It just makes it a bit more awkward. Also, something I've learnt about myself is that I probably prefer bars over clubs in London. But I don't know if that just comes with age, because I'm kind of grown out of the clubbing scene a bit. But I found some really, really cool bars in London, some like really quirky ones, and I just feel like the atmosphere is a lot better and they're just a lot more fun. You get a real taste of what London's for, not just like the touristy side of it, which I feel like clubs bring more of a tourism atmosphere to it. But and maybe I'm not going to the right places, but that's all something that I'm still trying to figure out and learn. Moving on to London itself. Now, obviously, moving to London was like a big thing for me, and London is just, honestly, it's just, I was a bit worried that the busyness of London would put me off and it'd just be like stress and hassle, but the busyness of London is different to a busyness anywhere else. Like, I enjoy it, and there's more of a buzz around it, and everyone's seems excited or like motivated, and they're going to work. And I know that like sometimes Londoners can come across as unsociable and like really miserable, which they can be, definitely, but the feeling of like just being on the tube on a Friday night when it's busy is just like really cool. One thing I love about London is you basically got the West End on your doorstep, which I love musicals and I love seeing theatre shows, even just concerts and gigs and stuff. Like, they're so easily accessible in London, and there's never nothing to do, which is great. Whether it's shopping or just going exploring new places, everything's just so easily accessible. And one thing that I'm really, really excited for is the summer in London. I just can't wait to experience it and just be out on weekdays, like till the sun goes down at 9, and it's just gonna be so much fun. Now I'm moving on to more of the work side of it, the apprenticeship side. I'm going to talk a bit about Google culture, because obviously everyone has this stereotype of Google, like it's this amazing company to work for, so much fun, there's like bright colours everywhere. And if you've seen the film The Internship, that's kind of what everyone expects it to be like, including myself before I started. Before I started, I didn't really have that many expectations. I went in with an open mind, but honestly, I can see how people get caught up in the Google culture, and when you're in Google, you know you're in Google. But there's so many amazing things about the company. Like, they really look after their staff. They provide all these free courses to help you improve soft skills like presentations and facilitation, even language courses. Not all of them are free, but how accessible things are and just how many different opportunities they have, from different cultures to different skills to different departments, is just like really, really cool to see, and it is an exciting environment to be in. Something that I noticed straight away when I started, and it still continued, is that everyone's just so nice and so friendly. Everyone always wants to help you. I'm not saying that people have this amazing positive mentality all the time, but when you talk to people, they're always willing to talk back to you, which is great. And most of the time you always feel welcome in the workspace, which is like obviously really good for someone coming in as an apprentice. There's obviously always the thought in the back of your mind that people might take advantage of you and kind of treat you as the apprentice, but I don't think I've felt any of that so far in my experience. Everyone's just been really nice and treated me like an actual employee. Oh, and then one thing that is amazing and that I've definitely took advantage of is the free gym classes and the free gym access, which I wasn't sure whether I'd like or not, because obviously you're working and then you're going to gym in the same workspace, and I didn't know if it'd be good for your mentality, but it's worked for me really well. Like, obviously there's no commute to a gym after work, so it just cuts out that bit of time and is a lot more efficient. I can't really complain about the Google culture at all. Now, moving on to my team that I've been put in, and my mentor and my manager. So within my program, we get partnered with a mentor, which is someone who you spend more day-to-day time with. You follow what their work involves and role, and you're kind of supposed to be learning what they're kind of doing. And then also you have a manager, which is usually your mentor's manager, I think. So we both report to our manager, and I kind of spend less time with him because he's a lot busier and a lot more people report to him. But obviously still get a lot of support and keep him up to date with how I'm doing and what I'm doing. Both my mentor and manager, I couldn't ask for better people to be supporting me on this program. They're both so supportive with what I do. They just want to help me. They just want to help me succeed, and kind of the way it's worked is they've asked me what I want to learn. They've kind of expressed to me what they think would be useful to learn, and we kind of put plans together and keep each other up to date, whether that's weekly, bi-weekly or quarterly. In terms of my team, I think it's a great team that I've been put in. It's quite new, so it's really exciting, and everyone again is so nice in it, obviously like everyone else at Google. I can often feel quite distant from some of the people in my team because it's so big. There can often be people on paternity, maternity leave, or they're just really busy, not at their desks, at meetings, or there's different holiday times. So you could get close to someone and then they go on holiday for like 3-4 weeks. And I definitely feel like it makes a difference when people are absent in the office. But yeah, overall, I think my team's got a great work ethic, and yeah, I feel really lucky to be put in the team that I have been. The workload of the apprenticeship definitely varies depending on what season it is in the industry. Say like Black Friday will be really busy, or like the moments with certain clients. So I work with telephone clients. A new thing coming out is obviously the 5G thing that you've probably heard about, and certain launches of these companies' 5G systems means that we'll be a lot busier with campaigns and things like that. So it definitely varies, and it definitely depends on what's going on in the industry. My workload is always manageable just because of my role as an apprentice. We're not expected to be working, you know, till 7 every night just to get our work done. I always get support from the education company and like my coach over that side, but also again my mentor and my manager that have been assigned to me from Google. But yeah, your work is definitely what you make of it. So you can either make yourself really busy and ask for more opportunities and get involved in different projects, possibly with different teams. It's very easy also to just sit back and not do a lot, and obviously some people feel comfortable in just kind of getting on with their tasks day to day, but personally I want to stretch myself as much as I can in this opportunity without stressing myself out and taking on too much, but definitely trying to take on as much as I can just to make the most out of the time I've got at Google. The coursework from the education company, White Hat, who provides the curriculum for the qualification, it's definitely very reflective. I found that very manageable, but the work is quite good in terms of being able to contextualize the coursework into your role at Google and seeing it in a real company. But also some of the objectives makes you think about important skills like time management and proofreading work and things like that. So there's loads of things we learn, and also good things that will prepare us for future roles after Google. But I would definitely say that you have to be self-motivated a lot of the time. Now, obviously you can reach out to your mentor and manager, but no one's going to do the work for you. And there is an expectation of working at a big company like Google. People around you understand that you're an apprentice, and, you know, you've obviously got to this role though for some reason. You are expected to some extent to kind of just get on with it and have the skills and the mindset that will allow you to just get on with the work and be able to manage it all. So yeah, it's a bit of a balance of both, but there's always help when you feel like you need it, which is probably the most important thing. I thought it'd be good to talk about some examples of projects that I'm currently doing without giving you too much information, because I'm not really allowed to discuss certain things. But for a lot of you who have asked me questions and stuff, it's probably just being outside of the experience, it's hard to understand what I actually do. But in my team, I work in the video and display sales team. So in a nutshell, selling advertising space on YouTube, and also, you know, like the little pop-ups on websites or on the side of the search engine, that kind of thing. So we are the salespeople that offer clients that space on our services, if that makes sense. So a lot of my work day to day will include answering briefs from clients. So they might say that they want to reach this many people, or from this campaign we want these results. What's the best way that you think we can do that? And from that we could advise certain ad formats or certain types of ads that we think would work the best for them. I also get involved in a lot of YouTube events. That's not necessarily directly related to the work on my team, but it's something that I'm interested in, and that I've kind of gone out of my way to get in touch with people in that team so I can be part of those events and the organisation and just experience the behind the scenes of what goes into that. Also pitching ideas to clients. So say if we have a new ad format or a new service coming out, or even just we want bigger budgets from clients, we will often go out and sell ideas to them. Project wise, I'm definitely starting to get a lot more responsibility, because as time goes on I'm starting to learn a lot more about my team and the business and how it all works as expected, and it does feel good finally having like the responsibility that I felt that I wanted. But yeah, things like this come with time. So my work day to day and like throughout the year definitely changes. There's no set thing that I'll be doing, and there's different competencies and skills that we have to fulfill as an apprentice. So I will be getting involved in different projects to make sure that I can gain those skills and kind of get an insight into different areas of a digital marketer. I've named this topic classes and lectures just to kind of help you understand it, as most of you probably understand how universities work. But basically once a month we have this 3-hour class, and I say that because it feels a bit like a class, because we have a coach from our education company who comes in and basically teaches us some topics, but it's very like interactive and we'll all discuss it as a group. We get split into two, so there's like about 12 in each group maybe. Yeah, and these will be different topics every month, kind of like a school curriculum, how that would go. You learn something new every lesson. But yeah, that's kind of how we learn our stuff. Obviously a lot of it we learn on the job, but there's some terminology and stuff like that that we have to learn to pass our qualification. On top of that, we also have something called a progress review, which will involve our coach, our line manager and our mentor. The two people from Google and then one person from White Hat. And basically every 2-3 months, we'll all basically just catch up, talk about what projects I've been getting involved in, what I feel like I've done well, what I feel like I want to improve. I feel like they are really helpful because it feels like a bit of a mundane task that's a bit forced sometimes. But then every time I come out of the session, I do feel like it clears my head a bit of what I'm actually doing, if I've actually progressed, what I want to do before the next one. So I do feel like they are really useful, and I think it's a great idea from White Hat that keeps kind of everyone in check of what's going on. This is an interesting topic, networking. So I did not realise how important talking to people was before I started this apprenticeship. First of all, my mentor sent me in one of the first emails a list of people's names that he wanted me to go meet, and kind of highlighted the fact that the best way to learn stuff and get advice is to talk to people around the company. So I followed that list and kind of asked questions like, what would be your advice, and for what would be best to get out of this opportunity, things like that. And 9 times out of 10 people would say networking, carry on talking to people, talk to people from different parts of the business, talk to people in areas that you're really interested in. So networking within the company is crazy. And I actually met an ex-apprentice the other day who was an apprentice 5 years ago actually, and he's now got his own company, but a lot of his clients that he works with today are people that he knew from Google, and not all of them were people that he worked with. So it kind of just showed me how important it actually is, and it doesn't always have to be related to your role. It can be just people that you develop a really strong relationship with that might offer you a favour that could, you know, change your life in the future. You just never know. So it's good to have those contacts. And then again, this doesn't have to be limited within the company. This can be outside of the company, going to extra events like panels. And I met a guy from BT through networking that might be giving me work experience. So it's just little things like that. I think they're kind of trying to steer away from this culture, but a lot of people that have been hired are through referrals, so who knows who, and oh, I used to work at this agency with this person, he'd be amazing for the role. And that's how a lot of people have ended up in the company. So it's kind of just an eye-opener to make the most of my time within Google, to get to know all these amazing people while I'm surrounded by them, because you never know what they'll mean in the future to me. And it also works both ways. So I've been asked to give advice as an apprentice to people's kids and like who people know and stuff. So yeah, it's something that works both ways. But networking, I can't stress how important it is. So the last thing I want to talk about is my mental health while I've been here. I'm kind of realising as I grow up that you'll always feel a bit up and down. You'll always have highs and lows, and I have had quite a few hard days where you just don't even want to go into work, or you'll see something that someone's doing and you'll think, why am I not doing that great thing? And it's really easy to compare yourself to people when you probably shouldn't. While it's been an amazing experience, it's definitely been an overwhelming one. With moving to London, getting a new job, meeting all these new people, being exposed to all these different roles within a company and how a company works. It's hard not to think about, oh my god, I'm leaving in 8 months, I need to do this, this and this, I need to meet all these people, I need to get all this amazing work for a portfolio so I can get a job at the end. So it is a lot of reminding myself to be present, to enjoy the opportunity while I've got it, enjoy all the people I'm surrounded with, and just have fun. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to look back and think, god, I was so stressed at that apprenticeship. It was easy back then, I wasn't even having a lot of work, do you know what I mean? That's definitely something that's always at the back of my head, to remind myself to just enjoy it. Don't put so much pressure on getting all these things out of it, like networking and these skills, because I'm only 18 and there's loads of time to learn that. I think I've just about covered everything. I don't know how long this video is going to be. Overall, with this apprenticeship, I'm absolutely loving my time here, and I just still can't believe that I've got this opportunity. If you do have any more questions on anything that I've mentioned or how it's going, then feel free to comment below, or just direct message me on Instagram if you feel more comfortable doing that. But I hope it helped some of you. Please comment if it did, because when you guys comment if something's helped you or not, and if you found it useful, like, really means a lot to me, and that's why I make these videos, so you guys can kind of learn from my mistakes and get a better idea of what you guys want to do. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you in my next video.